Diddly-doo-doo-doo. Come here. Excuse me. Ba-da-ba-dee-doo-doo-doo. Yabba-dee-diddly-diddly-doo. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-dee-doo. What the hell? Come on, Afro Mike, don't be a jerk. Hey, Cesaro back to number one again. XD and Steven Shirokage. Lixbox, ABD, Dark Sliver. All right, gang's coming in. Hey, Gigamick. Ivan's back. Mackenzie's in. Isaac Melendez. She probably is. Yeah, that's money money on my mind. Dav and Dab. Thala's in. Kunai Clips. Nutty Professor. Now, that's the only the only thing that brought up this topic of conversation was in, I don't even remember. Surprise. I don't even remember on what platform I was, but Sakura came, or the Naruto series came up again. We got talking about Sakura, and I haven't seen anybody yet that I can think of in anime. Now my Sakura equals useless. Terrence says, now my anime knowledge is, I think, decent, and certainly not as extensive as a lot of you guys. But I can't think of any character that within their own fandom is more divisive. And I'm just curious if you guys can think of anybody. I mean, we can talk anything you want as well, obviously. But if you guys can think of anybody that has that type of divisiveness, the only thing I ask is not for spoilers. By that I mean, if it's an anime I haven't seen or something I haven't seen yet in an anime, a character name is not spoilerish. You can say a character name, just say, no, this one divides people more. That's fine. That's not spoilers. Just no specific plot points or anything for something I haven't seen. 1010 best character ever, as Cesaro says. I like 1010. What better time than come back in from work, had food, shower, and can now chill with the legend himself, Curtis. Well, thanks, Dan. I appreciate that. Demways is useless. Wait a minute, everybody doesn't agree that Sakura's useless? No, Milkulator, she's got a lot of her supporters out there. I would say, just from my experiences with talking to you guys, I think again, just my take, I think the Sakura is useless crowd probably has a little bit more in the way of numbers than the Sakura is awesome crowd, but it's relatively close, I think. Now, Wolverine isn't in here yet. When Wolverine gets here, he will let you know loud and clear exactly what he thinks on the issue. Can you explain Divisive? Basically, Kunai, that a character that splits the fan base, that makes them argue, that has different takes on them. But that way, with Sakura, it's, again, you got a good hunk of the people say she's useless and she's a pain in the ass. She doesn't add anything to the story. And then you have people that say she's anything but useless, and without her, they never would have accomplished the things that they did. So, I mean, and it gets heated as well. Smiggy says who's Sakura. In Naruto original is useless and annoying as fuck. Yeah, I think I would, and I'm not one of those, I'm not, to be fair, I'm not a Sakura hater. I get both sides, so that's why it's interesting for me to see this. I completely see her uselessness at times, but I also see where she did, and particularly, as we were saying there, in Shippuden, she certainly became more of an asset. There, I just mentioned you, Wolverine. I just said when Wolverine gets in here, he will let you know exactly what he thinks. He says Sakura is best anime character ever. The entire fairy tale series is more divisive. Really, Arthur? I'll be interested someday. I'm sure we'll get to fairy tale someday at some point. It's too big a title and gets talked about too much for us to not get it going there at the Goosh at some point. Lixbox says, Sasuke-kun, please climb my pole. Milag says Sakura is not useless. She just has a shit personality and always gets outshone in her best moments. Yeah, well, I did think it was kind of rough when Naruto outdid her as far as healing abilities. It's like, oh, that was the thing she had going for her. Milag, I'm sorry, Red Milags. Morgan says, I think we also have to keep in mind that Sakura isn't from a powerful clan or anything. True. Compared to Sasuke and Naruto, she never had a chance. No, that's a good point. And when you put it that way, that I mean, those are the three from the original seven, or from Team Seven. We find out that Naruto and Sasuke are basically gods. So yeah, it would it would have been kind of asking a lot for her to keep up with them in any way. The only thing she does is fawn over Sasuke and punch Naruto, Tyson says. Now see, I think even here we're seeing it though. It's not by a lot, but the majority do seem to not like her, or at least see her as useless. Sakura, I finally caught up to them. Everyone, why the fuck are you lying? Andrew says. Oh, poor Sakura. Lude says Sakura is pretty useless and horribly underutilized for a main character. That's true. That is the objective truth about her. You always get extremists who say she's really useless or great, neither of which is true. Yeah, I agree with that. There's no doubt she's underutilized. And again, when the creator of the series is right up front about saying, yeah, female characters are not my strong point. Okay, so that's understandable. I mean, I've always said you have to respect that. When somebody's willing to come out and admit their weaknesses in their storytelling, it's cool. But it sucks for Sakura. Degree makes a good point. Useless as a main character, but not as a support. Okay, so I think that's a good point. How many of you that are in the camp of Sakura is useless, would you agree with that at least? That she was, as a main character, maybe, but if she was considered a support character rather than one of the main characters, one of the part of Team 7, would that be more reasonable? Then she wouldn't be seen as useless that way if it wasn't for the fact that she is supposed to be a main character, maybe? Zeno said, I would rather call it divisive decision making by the author. Yeah, there were opportune times to make her not useless and raise her up that were never taken by Kishimoto. It's not a character's fault. That's true. I mean, but the end user, Zeno, that's what we get to see is, who she is at the end. But that's goes back to what we were just talking about, and you're not wrong. Kishimoto himself admitted to not writing female characters well. And again, I think that's a plus when somebody has that type of self-awareness to not only recognize but own up to their own weaknesses. But I think for the point of this conversation, it's just that as fans, we have to take the characters as what the end result was. The reason she gets seen, I agree with you completely. The reason she gets seen as useless is, because she was written that way. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Dragon Sphere says no, he doesn't even agree with the support characters because support characters in Bleach are far more useful. Oh, we're going to be starting Bleach really soon too. We're almost done with Attack on Titan. Oh, Attack on Titan's so good. Let's see. Andrew says I didn't see this comparison, but he says to Fahad, don't compare legends like Genos to Sakura. I love Genos. I really do love Genos. Yeah, that was what hurt me. Carvas says all of Sakura's usefulness got nullified when she didn't destroy Obito's Rinnegan. That one got to me too. And again, I'll be fair, I'm not a Sakura hater, but that one drove me nuts. It's like, come on, you're a goddamn medical ninja. Pop that fucking eye out. Yeah, I think so too, Morgan. I think at least a lot of people would, if she wasn't a main character, I think they would be willing to accept her. Because she did have some contributions. Like I said, if nothing else, giving Naruto's heart a hand job, that was pretty impressive and pretty important. And in the fight with Granny, she did all right in that fight as well. She had her moments. But yeah, I do agree with those who have said it was much worse in Naruto than it was in Shippuden. I completely agree with that. Hold on, let me make sure I'm caught up on everything, guys. Arthur says a sexy Jutsu Shadow Clone would be a better female lead. Ouch. Smiggy says, so Sakura is like a bra, good at supporting. Which is ironic considering she didn't even really need one. That was mean. Michael Barlow says, I had a huge crush on Hinata growing up. I could understand. Obviously, I came to see Naruto not only as an adult, as an old fart, so I didn't get that same experience. But yeah, I would see that if I was a kid growing up. If I had been a kid watching Naruto, yeah, my crush would have been Hinata. Yeah, it would have been. And like Lude says, obviously it's all on Kishimoto, but when speaking about a character, you sort of take that as already understood. Yeah, as a character, we can only speak to what we've seen, what they purport on the screen. But again, I always had a lot of admiration for Kishimoto for being willing to say himself that I'm just not really good at writing girls. Lou Meng says, I really don't care too much about Sakura. I mean, she has good moments, bad ones. If she wasn't part of Team 7, people wouldn't shit on her nearly as much. So people talking about it is just overdone. Yeah, and I think that goes back. I think I agree with you, Lou. That's what was similar to what was stated earlier. It's that Kishimoto made her a main character and then didn't write her as one, I guess. And again, that's not taking swings at Kishimoto. He admits as much. It's just it is what it is. She's a main character who didn't get treated like one. Krusty Bomb Curtis roasting Sakura as pure gold. No, I got no problem with roasting an anime character, but I don't think I roast her too much because I don't dislike her. I think she underachieved, but I don't dislike her. The only time she really pissed me off was the whole Obito's eye thing. That pissed me off. Big Green says, haha, Sakura is flat. Sakura had titties, Shirokage says. That probably didn't help her in the world in the sense that a lot of, as was mentioned here, a lot of young men grew up watching Naruto, and of course we know what young guys are looking for, and Hinata had it and Sakura didn't. David McKinney, thank you, I appreciate that. Callie says, I'm starting to believe that Rock Lee would have been a better protagonist for Naruto than Naruto himself. No powers and has to rely on work ethic to make it in a world where other people have powers. That's a good point. That's a really solid point. I mean, other people, it didn't really affect me this way, but other people have accurately pointed out that how was Naruto an underdog all along when we find out he was descended from godlike abilities? Because I don't know, within the story I was willing to accept all that, but it's still a legitimate point. And you're right, Rock Lee would be the ultimate underdog. You need to watch the Rock Lee spinoff. Arthur, was that the I can't remember the name. Is that the one where they are chibi characters? Because if it is, I've seen a lot of those. Gene Bookwalter says, love Sakura character arc part 1 to Sasori fight. Reminds me of Usopp. Her having no emotional growth about Sasuke is the problem. I think that's a pretty good parallel, her and Usopp, actually. And Usopp, which really makes sense too when you think about it, what Gene's saying here, because and I'm just trying to do this off the top of my head. Yeah, I think Usopp would clearly be the most divisive character in One Piece. At least I am at episode 350 something. So at least isn't it amazing? You talk about an anime and you say, but I'm only at episode 350 something. I'm at episode 350 something. At this point, I think Usopp is the most divisive character in One Piece. In the respect that I see a lot of people saying similar things, like he's just annoying. I've seen him called useless, and he frustrates me at times too. But I like his character, but he's frustrating as hell sometimes. Yeah, that's a good call, Gene. I like that. That comparison. Flame Enforcer says Sasori should have killed her. Would have improved a lot. Oh, that's rough. Could you imagine how this story would have changed if she had died in the fight with Sasori? And when they all came together at the end to take out Kaguya. Kaguya? Did I say that even close, right? What would have happened in her stead, in place of her? Interesting. Let's see. Kishimoto is writing a series called Samurai 8, Diga says. And sadly, it's tanking because people are comparing and expecting to be Naruto right away, even though it took Naruto a while for it to reach its popularity. Really? I didn't even know about that. I didn't know he was working on something else. That's kind of cool. Arthur says, I love shonens, but they need more loss and tragedy. Yeah, and that having Sakura die to Sasori, yeah, that would have filled that. Chrome says, honestly, Usopp leaving at the end of Water 7 would have been better. He gets back on the crew like a few days after spitting on everyone's face and fighting Luffy. We were talking about that earlier. I tell you, Chrome, I don't necessarily disagree with that. As much as I'm a sucker for, because you guys know me with the whole camaraderie and friendship thing, and again, what a sucker I am for that. But I don't think it would have been terrible to have Usopp gone after Water 7 and then come back later down the road. I don't think that necessarily. Yeah, I don't think that necessarily would have been a bad thing. I agree. John says Sakura is annoying. It's like blah, 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 blah. It's like she knocked out her team to go kill Sasuke when she had her chance. She just failed. Well, yeah. And as I said, the one time she really made me angry was when she wouldn't pop Obito's eye out. She also kind of annoyed me though when she went after Sasuke with the kunai knife, and then that wasn't pathetic enough. Circled back around to come back at him again. That was just kind of pathetic. But as we've mentioned, I mean, it was a weakness in the writing, but boy, it's still annoying as hell to watch. Saw says, yeah, it would have been good for character development. I believe he's talking about the whole thing with Usopp. It would have been. That's a pretty neat idea. Who's more divisive, Sakura or Itachi? That's a good one, David. I think to the fan base, I think, just from what you guys say to me, I think to the fan base Sakura, but Itachi's a divisive character as well. I just think that, for me, I think there are more people. In other words, of what you guys say to me, the number of people that are pro Itachi is a much larger percentage than either side of the divisiveness about Sakura. So given that, that's why I think she's a little more divisive. Mr. Miles says, can't wait to see you react to Bleach. Yeah, it was just dawning on me, Mr. Miles, earlier that we're getting really close to it now. We only have a few episodes of Attack on Titan left. Actually, I think I only have 2 left to watch. They haven't all been posted yet. I'm a couple days ahead over at the Goosh, but yeah, only two left to watch. The way this is all unfolding now that I've seen the basement, holy fuck. Al says, yeah, her attraction to, is that Al or AI? It's hard to tell with the L's and I's looking so much alike. Yeah, her attraction to Sasuke kind of annoyed me a ton, but the scene with Obito and his eye was actually like a split second in the manga. And the anime added more of a dramatic moment to it. I guess that would excuse it a little more, like you say, if it was more of a boom boom decision she had to make. Yeah, because in the anime, she had plenty of time to think things through, and I just don't see any case that can be made for how that would have been a bad idea. Even if he wasn't being entirely truthful with her, it was still, at that point of desperation, it would have been the best move. That's true. Arthur says leaving a friend behind would equal crushing Luffy's resolve. Yeah, I think that's true. But then again, too, Arthur, you could also look at it as it could have been written to where Usopp just wouldn't come back, at least at that moment. And as much as, like you say, Luffy being so friend-centric, as much as that would have really devastated him, you could have written on to where he he has the realization where, okay, it's just not going to happen and you have to go on. But yeah, that does any friend not returning would absolutely have a huge effect on Luffy's character and how you have to write him going forward. Let's see. I love to see a one-on-one fight between Naruto and Inuyasha. I got to see that series at some point too, Alex. Got to see that one. There are levels to support category. Minor like Tamari, major like Kakashi. Yeah, that's true, Dragon Spheres. I think so. And that's what a lot of people are saying. If Sakura had been a support character rather than a main character, it would have been a lot easier to deal with her ineffectiveness. I'm putting that in a kind way. um, Still annoyed me how most of the support characters in the original feel. Hold on a second. Cesaro saying this. Still annoyed me how most of the support characters in the original feel of Shippuden, like Neji, Lee, Choji, and so especially Lee, had the most potential. Yeah, I think what was said earlier is very true, that Rock Lee was definitely a fascinating character and the true underdog of the whole Naruto story. I don't think how that would even be debated. I mean, if you wanted an underdog, it was Rock Lee. Especially with what we find out about Naruto at the end. Yeah, I know, Igor. The chat isn't on the screen. I got thinking, putting the chat on the screen every time, like I did, is kind of a wasted addition, because if you're watching the stream now, you can see the chat right on your device. And now that YouTube has finally gotten it right to where when they post the streams to YouTube, the chat stays there. I figured there was no real reason to put it up there. Lee got nerfed bad. Yeah, he did, Obito. Valkyrie says, fun fact, Hinata and Tenten's Japanese voice actors worked together in a later series, Magical Girl, Lyrical Nanoha, as rivals and later friends. Really? That's kind of cool. Hinata and Tenten. It's fun. It's interesting how so many, and I wouldn't know this, you guys pointed out to me, how so many voice actors will share really similar experiences across the animes that they've worked on. I think that's kind of neat. So I like, and it goes on a lot. The Goosh, well, a lot of you guys are Gooshers and know that. The gang is always bringing me up to speed on, okay, this voice actor is somebody that you saw here or there, and that's always interesting to me. Here's an interesting discussion we've recently had in the comments. Was Erwin or Armin the better choice to save with the syringe? And my opinion on that was was validated totally by you guys in those conversations. I had said it was Armin at the moment, but even in the moment, I admitted to you guys it was just an emotional thing. I had more of an emotional attachment to Armin. As far as a concrete decision, I wasn't sure, but to me, the people who were making the case for Armin made a very clear, cogent case as to why he was the better selection. Even though Erwin was a great leader, Erwin was too self-centered and was really all about himself and getting to see the basement. And whatever cost may lie in that way, well, too bad. And Armin, with his really, really sharp intellect and his compassion, was the better choice. But again, that I came to that conclusion because of you guys, because I read all those comments, and the more I was reading them, it's like, yep, that all makes sense. Let's see. I like Kimimaro. Yeah, I like Kimimaro too, Straga. The main reason was because he wanted Erwin to finally have a chance to rest. I think so, Dab and Dab. I don't think that was the only factor that went into it. I do think that Levi, as some of the others pointed out, I think that Levi started to realize some of those things that you guys pointed out in the comment section. Just that Levi started to understand, and I'll get this thought process right, that maybe this was just better for Erwin, and not necessarily to rest, just because he wasn't going to be able to take them to the same place that Armin would. I think anyway. Let's see. My favorite. Slid down on me. My favorite Naruto character. John's favorite is Nagato. I think when all is said and done, um, it's probably Hashirama. I just really liked Hashirama. It's hard to say because there are so many good characters. Um, but Hashirama was always cool to me. Igor says Hinata is also divisive. People like her because of her character, while the other half love her for the oppai. Very true. uh, Lude says, "Yep, Irwin was willing to stand." I don't know why my mouth is just not working today, guys. Huh? Good thing I'm not working in the porn industry anymore. Yep, Irwin was willing to stand on a mountain of corpses to see his dream come true. Armin was willing to sacrifice himself just so someone else like Eren would get to see the sea. Good point, Lude. And that's something huge to have in somebody who's going to be a leader. So that, but again, you guys are what talked me into that because I wasn't sure how, because my choice of Armin was purely emotional at first. And then in reading what you guys were breaking down about the nuts and bolts of it, it validated that for me. Nagato for the win, Tyson says. Nagato was a fascinating character too. Let's see. Any more and you've never shared? The internet threw those videos up. It actually rejected them. It was kind of mean. Joshua, yo, what's up, Curtis and chat? I'm a big anime and American cartoon nerd. I'm soon going to try to create my own series. It's kind of hard with high school, but it's good. Oh, that's cool, Joshua. I love when people go out and make attempts at things like that, at creating something. Just whatever your interest is and trying to create it. Yeah, I'm a big supporter of that. Morgan says, I feel like the whole child of prophecy thing cheapened Naruto's character. I think that's true. It was like he was never a true underdog. That disappointed me. I will say that was one of those things that I was willing to accept within the story, but it's an absolutely 100% legitimate concern because that it was the story of this, this little kid who had nothing, was nothing, rising to be the ultimate, not only the Hokage, but the hero to the entire universe and everything. And he wasn't as much of an underdog as we thought. Let's see. The internet is making you act up. Bleach in dub or sub? I don't know. I haven't figured. That's right. I got to decide that really soon. What I typically do, I haven't heard a lot of feedback from you guys. A lot of times I will have sub or dub decided before I start just by listening. See, the reason I don't, I should explain first. The reason I don't put that up to polls is because we have a number of people, and I think this is true anywhere in anime, who are hardcore sub. We have people who are hardcore dub. Excuse me. And that taints results because that's not what I'm looking for. When I'm looking, because I like both. So for me, if I'm going into a series and asking, I want to know, as an individual series, is Bleach better in sub or dub? Not as, okay, all sub is superior, all dub is superior. So I kind of try and watch for you guys and things that you've said and reasons you may have for one or the other. And then I'll also go out on the internet into fan forums and stuff and read discussions to try and get an idea. That's hard because you got to stay away from spoilers, but Bleach is better dubbed. Got a really good cast. I don't know. I'll have to. Gee, I hadn't even thought about that till you guys just brought it up. That in a couple days I got to start that and I got to decide. Big Green says sub, but I am superior. Oh yeah, I've seen Cowboy Bebop. I loved it. That was great. that was awesome. Radical Ed, one of my favorite characters. Igor says Itachi is way more complex. Sure, he stopped the coup, but Itachi said that Sasuke was too young to be involved, but there were other Uchiha children who weren't involved either. Yeah, the first sentence I completely agree with Igor. Yeah, Itachi was way more complex than Sakura, but I think even Kishimoto would readily admit to that, I would say. Do I have any theories or clues to secrets or the world or what's in the basement? Well, I'm a couple episodes ahead, so I know some of what's going on. It's still all unfolding for me. I have a little bit of knowledge about what's contained in the basement, and I know the whole story of how this all came to be is unfolding for me. Dub because sure. Dragon Sphere says, I think overall sub has better voice actors in a totality, but some characters are better in dub. Hard choice. That's interesting. Yeah, this one seems like it's got a lot of support on both sides. Jeez. Dragon Sphere says it's a coin toss. Well, that should be good. It should mean that we can't really go wrong either way then. Oh yeah. So it's amazing. It's not what was contained in the basement and how the story is unfolding is something that I never would have even imagined or guessed. I'm not even in the ballpark was I ever for what exactly was going on here. Milag says probably a useless idea, but you could react to one dub and one sub episode, then choose from there. I don't think that helps that much, Milag, because you get so little information in one individual episode. I don't think that would really determine whether dub or sub is better. Plus, I think people tend to like to, when they're watching along with me, hit one and just ride it through. People hate on Sakura with some good reason, but I mean, at the end of Shippuden, Sakura surpassed Tsunade, the sixth Hokage, in my opinion. 10-10 and a few others are worse. Right, but I think what it is, Shad, and I agree with you that there was much less for 10-10, but I think the reason that people don't come down as hard there is because 10-10 wasn't a main character, and Sakura was. You know, she was part of Team 7 and part of the trio that eventually takes down the ultimate threat, which is Kaguya. So I think that's why Sakura gets a lot of the grief, is because as a main character, she just didn't measure up. I just watched dub all around, Morgan says, because I'm too lazy to read subtitles. Andrew says, dub is better if you want to feel the character's emotions and understand them. Sometimes the dub censors the original. Subbed is better if you want the raw Japanese uncensored content. See, for me, I don't know, Andrew. And it depends on the series. I've been able to get plenty of the feels, plenty of emotion from the Japanese voice actors. I mean, even though you can't understand the language, certainly the emotion of it all comes through. I don't know. That's a tough one because, again, I don't have a preference. I like both of them. I like sub, I like dub. I don't have, as a general practice, I don't have a favorite. Let's see. Sakura is also a victim to power scaling, which plagues most shonen. Avatar had really good power scaling. Yeah, I agree, Milkulator. Avatar was just just a series that and I said it at the time, so far exceeded expectations for me that, yeah, it was so much better than I thought it was going to be. Igor says, what I meant was Itachi acted selfish. He claimed that Sasuke was too young, so he was spared, but what about the other Uchiha children? They were killed despite being non-evolved, gives a gray area. Well, everything about Itachi was more complicated just because than Sakura, for instance, because of the ridiculously horrific position that he was put in. There are rare times, Dale says, when the voice acting in dub is just as good or better, like Yu Yu or my Full Metal, but Bleach not, in my opinion. Yeah, that's why we ended up watching Yu Yu in dub, because, again, the overriding majority felt that was better in dub. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, same thing. Everybody said no, dub is better. Boy, I don't know. We'll have to. Well, I'll have to think that through and try and figure that out. I hadn't even thought about that, and I got to start. I'm going to be starting it in a couple of days. Let's see. If we power scale, the strongest Naruto characters are as strong as a weak ass Nappa in the Dragon Ball verse. Well, that Dragon Ball verse, of course, when you have characters that are universe destroyers. It's just, again, it's such an apples to oranges comparison there. Let's see. I'll say this: you could watch the first episode in dub and sub, and you decide whatever you decide will be fine. Well, like I say, Straga, I don't care for that either myself. I'd rather, because I like both, I'd rather get a feel from you guys. The only time I've seen anyone, two series, I should say this: there are two series that I had a specific want. One Piece, I saw clips and I loved the way Luffy said, "Monkey D. Luffy," and I just liked the sound of his voice, so that immediately endeared me to the sub. And in Hunter x Hunter, I had seen a clip back when we used to watch reaction video clips, and it was in English. And to me, who was it? I'm trying to remember who it was. One of the character voices just sounded completely wrong to me, and that put me off the dub. Killua. Yeah, it was Killua. Killua, I heard a little bit of him speaking English, and I didn't like it. Naruto is either. One Piece is sub, Bleach is dub. You think so, Arthur? We might go dub just because we're doing a lot of sub right now at the Goosh, so that would break it up a little bit. Yeah, that's it. Naruto, yeah, Naruto being either I agree with, because obviously I've seen both, and I was perfectly comfortable with both in Naruto, perfectly comfortable with both in Dragon Ball as well. Let's see. Naruto is played by women both sub and dub. Yeah, I did know that, Pernell. I'd been told that before. I love Kurapika's English voice. Did you? Like I say, that what put me off was just that little clip I saw. I didn't like Killua, and I love Killua's character, and I didn't like his English voice at all. Dub for Bleach solely because of Ichigo's voice. Well, that Epic Wolf, there's a lot to be said for that. I mean, if it's if you're talking the main character of the series, and you believe his voice acting to be that much superior in one over the other, sure, that makes sense. Is Bleach coming soon to the Goosh? Yeah, it is. Zawarudo. Yeah, as soon as we finish Attack on Titan, Bleach has been voted in next, and we're getting real close to the end of AOT. How about we send you a dub clip and sub clip? Again, I could watch those, Arthur, but I don't think generally. Now, there are exceptions, just like what happened with Killua, but I already knew the character when I saw that. I don't think just brief clips really tell you the totality of the voice acting in sub or dub. I'd rather just go by what I hear from you guys, because so far you guys have never steered me wrong on anything. I was real when you said, "Oh no, you got to do Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and dub." I was completely happy with that. I love the voices. Same thing when you said, "Got to watch JoJo in sub." I was completely happy with that. So I'm leaning more towards dub, just because it's unusual for any series to get this many dub supporters, and that typically means the dub is pretty good. Hey, love the vids. Fantasy says, I think dub is better for reactions because you usually don't pause, so you'd miss less dialogue when you make comments. No, that's actually not true. Only because with sub, I'm reading the whole time. I can make comments and read. If I make comments, sometimes I tend to miss things in dub more often because I speak over them, because I'm relying on hearing them, whereas in sub, I'm relying on reading them. So it actually has worked out the opposite for me. I miss very little in sub because I can talk and read. If I'm talking, I'm speaking over what I'm hearing in dub. So yeah, it's actually the opposite. But what I typically do is, if I think it's something that important, I'll go back. If it's not overly important, even with the reactions over at the Goosh, I still go back through while I'm editing, so I catch things that I miss. But the dub is good in Bleach. There are characters that got both amazing voices in Bleach for both dub and sub. Wow, that's unusual too. That so many people are saying, because that doesn't usually happen either, where so many people are saying, you know what, you really can't go wrong with either. I mean, that's a testament to the series, to Bleach, that both the sub and dub are done that well. I've never seen, when we've talked sub or dub, I've never seen this number of people say, yeah, it doesn't matter. They're both really good. Um, Andrew, love you, Curtis. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Personally, I've always hated Sakura because of the way she treated Naruto. That's true with a lot of people. A lot of people just. I've had a lot of people come to me saying that right when we started Naruto, constantly beating him, insulting him, and calling him a pest. Then during pain arc, she begs for him to come save her. Yeah, you're not alone, Andrew. It wasn't something that put me off a ton because I could laugh at most of the beatings, but I do get it because they got to be excessive sometimes. It's like, every time we know Naruto's goofy, so every time he does something goofy, you're just gonna jack his ass up. Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of people. Again, it didn't put me off a lot, although I can agree it was cute at first, but the constant beatdowns got to me a little bit too. It started to annoy me a little bit. Later on, I had, and again, I think that's true with a lot of you guys. I got much more sympathetic towards Sakura the further we went in the series. The two biggest moments for me, I had said it earlier. Obito's eye, not poking his eye out, that just annoyed the shit out of me. And the whole thing when she went to take out Itachi, I just thought was stupid. I mean, stupid on her, not stupid writing, stupid on her to think to go after him in that ill-advised a manner. Tui says people downplay Naruto so much. Kaguya blew her whole dimension. That was a universe, and at a low ball, had a star Nappa couldn't even blow up Earth. Had a star. Oh, Nappa couldn't even blow up Earth. Right, but what I think it is though, Tui, is if you look at both top ends of power scaling, it just doesn't seem fair. I mean, I'm sure you can take characters within each series and get it closer to even. It just seems like it's not fair to compare a series where Kaguya is the ultimate power, and I just don't think it measures up with the ultimate powers that you see in Dragon Ball. But as far as individual characters, yeah, you could probably make a case for some individual characters to be a good matchup. Naruto should have gave her equal rights and lefts. Andrew says. Azaria says, I think Sasuke should have ended up with Kairen more than Sakura. I could see that. I could have seen that. I think that, yeah, that him ending up with Sakura was, was giving in to the ultimate eventuality, whereas it might have been a lot more interesting to see him end up with Kairen. That's true. Yeah, I think that's true. Let's see. People really want to pretend Naruto is more powerful than he is, Chrome says. It's kind of silly. Why do you need to pretend that Naruto could even hold a candle to Goku? I mean, Goku can blow up moons at 12. Yeah, that's what I mean. I just don't think it's fair just because of the power scaling thing. I don't think it's supposed to be fair because of the power scaling thing. That's why I'm not that big on, because people will ask me that all the time. They'll have comparatives from one anime to another, and sometimes they're reasonable, but other times it's just like, but if you look at the backdrop of those characters, the world that they're in, there's no comparison. It'd be like saying, how do you think Levi from Attack on Titan fares against Beerus? I'm going to give Beerus a slight edge there, just slightly, but I mean, it's all the backdrop of the universes they're in. Sakura should have hooked up with Lee. That would have been cool, Arthur. I'm on board with that. I think that would have been cool as hell if Rock Lee finally got a little something something. Yeah, I agree. I think that would have been a great twist to the story. I completely agree with that. Let's see. Zeno says, may I give up? Maybe I could use a Goose reward to make him watch those vids. I have no idea what you're talking about, Zeno. What vids? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Let's see. Fantasy says, another $5 for me. Well, thank you. Thanks for being a super cool dude, bringing your vids to get some peace in a hard time. Say, well, thank you, Fantasy. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you to say. I appreciate that a lot. Dragon Sphere says, most useful thing Sakura did was, can't think of anything. Oh, that's rough. The timing, Zeno? Let's see. Let's talk about Kakuzu. What about Kakuzu? I like Kakuzu. The funny thing was when they were first together there, I thought that Kakuzu. Well, you guys watched with me. Remember, I thought Kakuzu was really cool, and Hidan was kind of a dink, and turned out that Hidan became my favorite member of the Akatsuki. I ended up loving Hidan. Uh, Diga says Bill Cosby is getting the pudding pop in prison. Yes, he is. Also, Bleach is better dub just because of Ichigo and the main villain voice actors. I'm really leaning towards dub. A lot of just from what's been said today, by the fact so many of you have said that Bleach is better in dub, and even more so, so many people are saying that you can't go wrong either way. I think that makes a strong case for the dub. I think that's probably what we'll do. No, I don't do polls on sub or dub, Dale, because I found that the polls are always tainted towards what I want. When I'm asking sub or dub, I'm asking people specifically within this series, which do you think is better and why? And I'm not saying people shouldn't be like this. It's their own opinions. But there are so many people that are hardcore sub and hardcore dub that they're just going to vote one way or the other anyway. And so it doesn't really give me the results that I'm looking for. When I ask for that, I'm looking for people that don't have that preconceived notion and are like me and like both, and will just tell me which is the better one. That's why I stopped doing polls about them. Oh, Zabuza. Zabuza Tori was cool. Zabuza ended up being really cool. What I loved about him was when he was reanimated, and the way he was one of the first concerns, or the first concern on his mind, was how that kid from the bridge doing and everything. Yeah, Zabuza was really cool. Zeno, can I try one more time? It's a clip from a Naruto video game, and obviously shouldn't be an issue for you to watch in your own time. So only like 40 seconds. I want you to see as well. I'm not really looking for any clip recommendations. This is just a live stream to chat. I don't know if I would remember to get to it when I'm done. But what happens is if I start doing that, then we're just going to get comment after comment after comment of, well, here, watch this clip, watch that clip, and I just don't have the time to watch them all. That's why I try and stay away from the clips. Zabuza was so badass, but history sadly repeated itself. Yeah, Zabuza was and I I shouldn't say I didn't realize it at the time. When he took out the little toad guy there that I couldn't stand, I could see that there was more to him than I was giving him credit for. And it's funny how Zabuza helped me to learn this too, was how you have to really kind of learn, and I wonder if you guys think this is true, especially for somebody like me who started in anime as an old fart. You actually have to learn how to watch anime because we're so preconditioned to certain things in Western culture and Western entertainment. And one of the big things I love about anime is they give no fucks. There are no rules. If we need to kill a character, I don't give a shit who that character is. They're going to die because that's the story we want to tell. Whereas in Western when Western entertainment, it would be more of a case of some suit somewhere is going to say, no. Too many people like that character. That's not good for the advertising dollar. And so we didn't see things like that. So it was actually a process to learn how to watch anime as much as it was watching the anime itself. Let's see. Yassine says, I just discovered that Yagami backwards is I'm gay. When I realized that why Yagami Light can resist any girl. Western anime does exist, Ami? Well, then you would have to, it would depend on your definition of anime, because to some people the actual definition is Japanese creations. Let's see. Ruby is Western anime. Well, Ruby, like I say, it would depend on. To me, it makes no difference. To me, it's all semantics. But whether it's Ruby or Avatar, there's certainly Western productions that were done in anime styles. But it all depends. Again, to me, that's not even an argument I ever engage because it doesn't matter to me. All I care is if it's fun, if I like it. How the semantics of whether or not it's classically anime doesn't mean anything to me. Castlevania, yep, another good example. Shirokage, man, that I'm having fun with that. Watching that at the Goose. That's a sponsored series we have going at the Goose. God damn, Castlevania is good. Freaking Isaac's a badass psycho. I like Isaac. I like Dracula too. I know I'm supposed to be rooting against him at this point because you know the whole kill all the humans thing, but I kind of like him. Lud says, "Hey guys, remember when Sakura was supposed to be a strong Genjutsu type? Yeah, me neither." Trigun, I think will no. I think I made myself some notes. I don't think I have them here. I have them on the computer. I think Trigun was sub. I think. Let me see. Austin, are you going to be watching Boruto, Curtis? Probably not for a long, long time, if at all, because the series we watch at the Goose, which is the anime I watch, are voted on, and a lot of people over at the Goose don't have much use for Boruto. The $1 level are series that I put in, and I wouldn't be putting Boruto in there anytime soon. So yeah, Castlevania is really badass. Dragon Spheres, really good. If it weren't for Saris and Alucard, it would be my favorite vampire thing I've ever seen. And I've seen lots of vampire shit over the years. I always liked vampires. My age, I'm an ancient 58. Boruto is blah. Yeah, that's the anime. It never gets, Boruto doesn't get much support over at the Goosh. And again, since it's the Gooshers that dictate what anime we watch, it probably won't be coming up. And again, at the $1 level, I put them in, but we got Trigun coming up soon, and I think I'm almost sure it's going to be Code Geass after that. And there's so many other things that I want to get to. And it's not even necessarily that I hate on Boruto. I know a lot of people don't like it. The simple fact is, when I got done with Shippuden, it was very satisfying. To me, it was like, okay, that was really fun, a really great story, and the story is told. It's not like I feel like I need to see more of it to feel like it's completed or something. Boruto only has one good scene. Ouch. Oh no, I love the guy who does the MC in the Trigun dub. I don't know. I'll have to look and make sure I didn't make a note otherwise. But I will say this: if Bleach is going in dub, there's more chance that Trigun will go in sub, because there are, as far as, and I try and keep it fair to everybody, and as far as, like I mentioned, those people who either like all sub or all dub, we have a lot more fans of sub than we do dub. So, excuse me. Oh god, now we're having dub versus sub for Trigun too. Yeah, I think Trigun's probably going to be, unless I were to hear an outpouring of support for the other, Trigun will likely be sub. Especially now that I know that I'm going to do Bleach in dub. ReZero we haven't got to yet, Ami. It always gets in the nomination threads we have to nominate a new series. It always gets mentioned and it always gets some support. Just hasn't gotten enough to win a poll yet. Let's see. Trigun is dub for me. Let's see. Fairy Tail is dope. Yeah, Fairy Tail's got it at some point. Fairy Tail's got to win the poll. It's gotta. It just has so many fans, and the little bit I know about Fairy Tail, I like, and I'm sure you guys can imagine why. Chrome is, oh well, Trigun's known for being a classic dub. Typically, if something, well, I'll look that up. If I look it up and I see from, because I have a few places I go where I really trust the opinions of individual writers on anime, and I'll see if I can find what somebody said. But that's why I ended up watching Yu Yu in dub, because initially that was going to be sub, but then everybody said no, that is a classic dub. That's one of the really true upper end high quality dubs, and so that's why I went that route. Yeah, the guy says you're in the springtime of your youth. Luke says I don't know what this Trigun is, but I greatly disapprove. Was Code Geass after Demon Slayer, or was it something in between? Yeah, because after Demon Slayer is Trigun, and like I think I haven't committed to it yet, but I think Trigun's going to come after that though. Lute says, you like the friendship aspect in anime. I do. So you'll most definitely like Fairy Tail. It rides the friendship train hard. Thankfully, all but the last two arcs is worth the watch, in my opinion. I hear that from a lot of people that they just thought it lost some steam. That's unfortunate. Demon Slayer is fun. Yeah, Demon Slayer is really good. I'm really enjoying that. I'm liking the fight. Again, don't give me any spoilers, so I'm right in the midst of it right now. But this whole fight with the spider family, this has been really cool. I'm liking that. Loki says, is there an anime you had high hopes for, but it didn't meet your expectations? For me, it's Full Metal Alchemist. Just couldn't get into it. I've been fortunate. No, I really haven't. Now, I will say this. I'm always honest with you guys. So I'm in a unique situation that I have you guys recommending anime to me. So the odds of me watching ones that aren't very good is much less than if I was going it alone and just had, picking and choosing. There are, although I've liked everything, there are some that aren't nearly as high on my list, but nothing that disappointed me. But again, I think that's too because, and I even find that with things like Attack on Titan. I was so used to my whole life Western style entertainment that it's easy for anime to be exceptional to me because the storytelling is better. And the reason I bring up Attack on Titan is I've never seen anything in Western entertainment that could stay as dark as Attack on Titan does throughout, unflinchingly, unabashedly dark the whole time, and it still works. And I've never seen Western entertainment be able to do that. I've seen things that tried to stay that dark and they lost my interest because it was like, okay, the story is not progressing along because you're hindered by the darkness of it. Attack on Titan didn't. So no, nothing has been below expectations. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, I have to admit, Smokey Loki, that's in my upper tier. That's with, One Piece and Hunter x Hunter are just like the ultimates for me, and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is right there with them. I just really, that story in FMAB really captured my imagination. Any plans for Ranma? Is that one of two or one half? I'm not even sure what that is, Mr. Miles. I'm really not sure what that one is. Let's see. Because you never watched Game of Thrones. No, I haven't seen Game of Thrones. And that's something I wish I did have time to sit down and watch it, Licks, because what I know of Game of Thrones, that is certainly my type of entertainment. I don't know, does it stay as dark throughout as Attack on Titan does? What I know of it, it might. Let's see. Chrome says, well, Fairy Tail is basically One Piece like set in a medieval fantasy, but with more story variation. Oh, and more overt fan service and better art. Yet people get mad at it. Yeah, the fan service thing, I've seen little bits and pieces of it, and I must say I completely approve. It's one half, Ranma half. Oh no, I've never heard of that one. I don't remember us even talking about that one before. Bleach gets dark in the second arc. Does it, Dragon Spheres? And again, I've seen lots of shows that have dark elements to them or are predominantly dark, but AOT just stays in that darkness. And while they're doing it, the story never lets up for me. And the intensity of what's going on now, having been in that basement, is just crazy. Jesus Christ. That's so good. I heard Azaria says, I heard Game of Thrones hit the bottom at the last two seasons. Is it true? And like I say, I haven't seen it. I heard that it was slacking off, but I heard mostly a lot of people were annoyed with the final episode of it. And again, I don't know why, because I don't know anything about it, but that's just what I'd heard from people. Let's see. I can't believe how many people actually think the Bleach dub is better than the sub, Dale says. Nani? And I'm not a dub hater. I prefer many anime and dub, but for me, Bleach isn't one. See, that's interesting. And I didn't even... See, that's another consideration now, too, is if Trigun is considered a classic in dub, I might be going the dub route there as well. I'll have to think this through. But it does surprise me to hear how many people are saying that Bleach is really good in dub. Let's see. Specifically, what ruined Fairy Tale near the end is that friendship aspect that became the answer to nearly everything. Lude says the general feel of the show and especially the soundtrack makes it worth the watch. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it. Um, Trophy Hunter Dan says I know it's off topic, but I love the inspirational video the other day and the Wii rage that kicked in. Yeah, that was like every once in a while the old wrestler version of me comes out and, and kicks it, especially when I'm doing videos like that. Because when I do something like that, when I'm doing a video where I'm just speaking from the heart, I don't script them or anything. It's just what comes to me as I'm saying it. So yeah, that's where the jacked up Curtis with the little bit of testosterone he has left comes out every so often. Um, Straga says, I think the best way I can say this is, you know how some people were born to play a role, like Nick Fury is now forever Samuel L. Jackson. That's true. It just works. Johnny Young Bosch is like that with Ichigo. Yeah, Fairy Tale has Chrome says, a sort of Irish rock soundtrack. That's cool. It's one of the better action themes. That's cool. I'm really, really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. Catching up on the One Piece videos, Dragon Sphere says. Now in Thriller Park. Yeah. Thriller Park is really cool. It's been fun. At first, I thought it was just going to be goofy and funny the whole way, which was fine. I was laughing it up. But now I'm at the point where they got to go get their shadows back, and I'm real interested to see how these fights unfold. And I want to see what comes of the whole thing with Brook and his shadow, and now Laboon. I think that Brook Laboon connection is really cool. Let's see. But Sub Bleach sounds off. See, a lot of people are leaning towards the dub Degas in Bleach. A lot of people. Who is your all-time favorite anime character, not just show character? I don't know, Austin. I don't know. Like I say, you get to the top of the character list. I don't know how you differentiate. I love Killua. I love Luffy. I love Sarah's Victoria. She's the only one of my waifus that you'll hear me say. She's also one of my all-time favorite characters, as is Alucard for that matter. There are so many really great characters that it's hard to say. And I have to amend that. I had forgotten. I kept saying that the only anime I know of where my favorite character is the main character is One Piece, because I love Luffy. That's leaving out Mob Psycho 100. Because as much as I like Regan and everything, Mob is my favorite character in there. I really like Mob. Although Dimple can make a run at him. But right now, Mob is my favorite. But I guess I never think to mention that because it's just by a little bit. Whereas with One Piece, Luffy has always been my favorite. But I really, really like Mob. Black Lagoon was awesome. Revy was Revy. I've seen so many Revy clips, Andrew. Yeah. I can love me some Revy. Death Note is also very dark. Yeah, I agree, just by its nature. But I think it didn't stay, to me anyway, it's dark because of the story itself, because of owning a Death Note. It didn't have that overbearing but awesome darkness feel through it for me the way that Attack on Titan does. Chrome, Curtis, we might have a Mark Bark in the chat calling me racist. Wow, that's actually a step up, Chrome. I don't think Mark Bark ever called me racist, just green screened, right? That's no Mark Bark, just an idiot, Big Green says. Mark Bark goes on stupid tangents. Yeah, Big Green, it would be hard to imitate Mark Bark, wouldn't it? To be that level of crazy, that would be difficult. That would be difficult to to match. Vinland Saga. A lot of people have talked about Vinland Saga. I know nothing about it, Zach, other than conversation that have been had. But yeah, a lot of people like that. Don't forget those 92 cents. That's right, Cesaro. Lex, why are you white, Curtis? Who is this I'm missing? How did I completely miss? Well, the chat. We've had a lot of people in today. Anytime we talk Sakura, understandable. There's a lot of people in. I didn't get to see this at all. Rie, all right, I'm gonna head out. Okay, thanks for being in while you could, my friend. Dragon's saying, I'm a kangaroo. read the manga, they know how shit is going down over there with Boruto. Well, like I say, I can't really comment on Boruto at all because I haven't seen any of it. The Banjo says, have you ever thought about watching Maji Labyrinth of Magic? It's a pretty cool anime based on old Middle Eastern culture. We've talked about that. I've heard that one mentioned, Banjo, but again, I get the anime I watch is by vote done at the Goosh. I have heard of it, but I don't think it's got enough of a following to get voted in, at least yet. Um, which it's awesome, awesome Saj. Let's see. I am game. I'll take a look. I didn't even see his or her its name come up here. Awesome. Yeah, I'm not even seeing them. But a lot typically with stuff like that. Oh, did you just say the N word? Wow. That's what he came in with. Did you just say the N word? Wow. Some people I think are so looking to be offended that they'll make things they'll make things up in their own mind just so they can have something to be offended about. Uh, Also, was your favorite in Naruto? Mine was Guy versus Madara. You know me, I'm not big on unless something really, really stands out to me exceptionally. I'm not big on too much with the favorites, only because again, to me, it's like when you reach a certain level, like as a character, when a character just becomes that awesome to me, I don't know how you delineate those levels of awesomeness. Let's see. Oh yes, Lud says Maji is a big recommend from me. It's sort of gone under the radar. It's an anime inspired by 1001 Arabian Nights. Same music composer as Bleach. Is great anime. That's cool. No, like I say, I don't know anything about it. Hmm. Magic. Yeah. Hold on. I was reading Chrome's. Oh yeah, Magic the series with the big titted blue genie with a nipple chain. Also, boob obsessed main character. All right, I'm on board. Now you guys, you guys have got me on board here. I'm ready to go. Ulamog. I'm gonna say the N word. Nettles. That's good. Fate Zero. Yeah. Fate Zero gets mentioned all the time. Again, that whole Zero series, at some point, I think we'll see them because there's so much support for them. Did you just laugh? Curtis Smoky Loki says it's cultural appropriation of jesters into the gulags with you. Yeah, cultural appropriation is one of my favorite things, too. When somebody wears some clothing or something that is clearly, obviously, because they enjoy another culture or have respect for another culture, and is somehow appropriating it by the clothes. That's another level of stupidity too. They disrespect my guy Kava too much in Super. His life is such a drag. He really needs a sense of being. Oh, the guy, poor Kava. Do I prefer Kakashi, Jiraiya, or Itachi? I don't know. Where would I rank them as favorites in the series? I really like Itachi. I like his character. I like Kakashi and Jiraiya as well. Um, I don't know. It'd be tight between Jiraiya and Itachi, with Kakashi just a little bit below. PC Principal. Diga says. Cesaro says, "Damn, can't wait for Code Geass. It's God tier, Curtis. God tier. Yeah, that's why I'm gonna be putting it up there. Is just because you guys have said that it's just so good. That's what's got me interested in it." Tui says, "The world has to be changed. It had to be fixed. Who else could have done it and come this far? Light Yagami." Light. Oh man, the characters in Death Note were just so well done. I mean, they had a great concept to start with, but there's so many ways the ball could have been dropped in that storytelling, and they didn't. They didn't drop it at all in any way, shape, or form. Let's see. Um, Straga says, because words can hurt people, which is true because I remember this one time I was in a pub and this guy was giving me a stare, so I walked up to him and I slit his throat with a fucking adjective. Well done. Let's see. Curtis not seeing my comment. Talk about dark and good stories. You should check Vinland Saga. Yeah, I saw everybody talking about Vinland Saga. I mentioned it, Zach. I was saying that I've heard people talking about it, but I don't really know anything about it. And as far as watching it, again, as I said, it'll all be whatever they vote in at the Goosh. Code Gas Pepto Bismol Saga. Wing of Shu. There's a special good quality 7-hour supercut for Berserk using 97 the 97 and 2012, not 2018 CGI shit animes to tell first part. Really? That's kind of cool putting the two of them together. That's kind of cool. Wow, that's really neat. That was talk about a series. That series had such a, I watched the 97, of course, that had such a great feel to it as well. Especially considering that, you're in a different era of animating things and all, but it just clicked with you on every level. It was very immersive right from the start. Dangle, enemy says. Kakashi started out to be the best character, but he went downhill and shit went in sadly. I don't disagree with that, Degas. I mean, I always liked Kakashi, but yeah, Kakashi was definitely. Oh boy, I want to say this right. I was gonna say my least favorite. No, I don't even know that that's true. I don't know how I want to put that. I was gonna say my least favorite Hokage, but well, yeah, I guess that is the way to put it. Least favorite Hokage, not necessarily least favorite character that became Hokage, but it just. I thought when you're watching the original Naruto, you would think, and if you knew that Kakashi was going to be Hokage, you would have said, yeah, best Hokage of all time. And by the time it got to there, it was nothing like that. Chrome says, I really miss the old gritty look of classic anime. A lot of modern anime really overuses shines and highlights. It looks plastic. A highlight is meant to be that, a highlight. Shadows work better. Yeah, Chrome, now that you guys have had me watching, a few of the older anime like Yu Yu and things like that, I agree. It's really cool. I like that look. Jacob says Pornhub is down for me, so I guess this will do. I don't know. I'm glad you're in with us, pal, but there's still X videos and a bunch of others out there. Berserk and AOT, Cesaro says, are the only anime that every time I watch my heart about to stop because how dark it is. Yeah, that's understandable. Lou says, yeah, Curtis, what the fuck? You forgot the age-old rule. Hashtag fuck Donzo. But I did think about Donzo, actually, Lou, when I was titling this. But I think, again, Sakura is more divisive because I think she has more percentage of supporters that will say she's not useless than Donzo has of people that will say Donzo did nothing wrong. And again, that's just what I get from feedback over the years of watching, talking, and enjoying anime with you guys. You'll probably find some Spaz Boys videos on X Hamster. Probably can. Maybe some of the old Omegle videos or something. Donzo Trump, Diga says. All right, guys. Well, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go. This was a fun conversation. This was really good. I thought it would be. I like doing these anime chats every so often. We're going to keep going with the same type of continuity with these chats. We'll have the self-help chats where you can come in and talk about whatever you want. We'll give whatever assistance we can. Of course, still be doing these anime chats. Still have the free-for-all Friday, the Wild Wild Wednesday, all that stuff. And still try and work in those video games, the gaming every so often, especially where we are in both games. If I can get rid of Mr. X, that'll make me feel a lot better. Oh, that's right. We're going to be playing that again soon, and he's right on my ass, isn't he? God damn it. All right, though. Thank you, guys. This was a really fun and good conversation. A lot of my opinions on anime are molded by what we talk about here, so I always appreciate that. Wing of Shu says, 86 Saint Seiya and Hades arc animated is clear difference of era. Really? Saint Seiya and Hades arc animated is clear. Yeah, again, you guys have gotten me, obviously, because I didn't watch anime till just recently, have had me watch a couple of the older anime now, like, Berserk, 97, Yu Yu. And I really like that. That's why I found when I was watching them, I even liked better watching them in the classic 4:3 more than when they split, they spread them out to the 16:9 ratio. It does have a good feel. I agree with what Chrome said. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for this. I think we've dissected Sakura pretty well. And I know a lot of you would prefer that the dissection was literal more than figurative. But this was a fun conversation, and we'll be back with another one really, really soon. Thank you, guys.